there has been a complete sniper invasion here in multiplayer. The entire kill feed is full of them, and that's for good reason, because they added in the Ballista, and it's got to be one of, if not the most fun weapon in the game. And everybody's got their hands on it, or they're using a sniper until they can get their hands on it. I have not played in a single lobby since this weapon has come out where there isn't at least half of the people using it. And that's saying a lot, because now we have a 10v10 playlist, so we're getting at least 10 people sniping each and every game. And it's drip or drown, Spider-Man, so we gotta adapt and get to using this as well. So we're gonna have to master the Ballista, and what better way to do that than by getting the camos for it. And I got a little carried away trying to get this leveled up yesterday before I hopped into a game of zombies with it, and I already got all the military camos done for it. It is honestly not that difficult to do for most of the snipers, because you just need to get a lot of like one shot, one kills, except for like the Ion for whatever reason. That one needs headshots, but it was not very hard just getting 80 one shot, one kills using the Ballista. It was honestly so much fun. I've been having a great time using this weapon, but what I gotta say is I always have fun using snipers. It's always a great time. It's always very satisfying, because I feel like you can get some like crazy kills, and when you're on one, you're on one. But I think this might be my worst class overall in multiplayer as a whole. I don't know what it is, but I always seem to either go negative or like very close to it whenever I'm using a sniper. And I don't think it's helping that we're going against the Do-Rag clan right now. They're actually queuing with like a full 10-person lobby. Woo! Oh, but they're gonna regret the day they did. Damn it. See, this is what happens. I get like 2 kills. I start to get an ego, and then my head inflates so much I'm easier to kill. That's what I love about the addition of this weapon. We have entire like sniping clans either forming or coming out of retirement just to come out and use it. But anyways, I just hopped right in and got to yapping. But welcome back to our Road to Singularity series here on BO7. And in our last video, our top comment was from Ghost, saying that we can do any weapon, but every time that we go down, we have to do an apology video. And I'm sorry, but that's not what we're going to be doing today. I personally think that challenge is more suited for zombies, especially the whole going down part, because I don't even think you can go down in multiplayer. I would just be making a video every time I died, and that's already happened 19 times this game, and I think that would get pretty old. But I do have to commend you, because you do know, Ball, that is a video we did in, which Dark Aether grind was that? Either the second or the third Dark Aether grind, where every time we went down, we did do an apology video. But I don't even know if there's been too many, like, well-known apology videos since then for me to parody. Maybe I'll have to do my research on it, but the last big one I remember was the whole toxic gossip train one. People just aren't sorry like they used to be, except for these guys in my lobby. Damn it, me holding the mirror up. But as for our challenges with our Ballista here, we need to get a good amount of long shots. We need to get some kills with a suppressor equipped, and we need to get objective kills, which is like the Voldemort of camo grinders. Like that's something that is inconceivable. Me being on the objective and going for camos. Yeah, right. You got a better chance of getting 300 mounted kills. But I can even get to the objective to get the kills. Actually, for objective kills, do I need to be on the objective? Do they need to be on the objective? How does it work? Oh, but now's our time to find out. No! Hit a shot challenge is what it should be. Oh, wait. 30 objective kills. We're done. Okay, well, that's the last time I'm stepping foot on there. And that is not even up to me. These guys will not leave us alone. I am definitely going to need to leave this lobby when this game is over with. We are getting pub stomped like never before. I will be very surprised if somebody does not drop a nuke this game. I feel like the last few times I've hopped on multiplayer, every single session I play, there's at least a nuke or 2 happening. We are in an unprecedented era of me getting shit on. But at least if they do it with a sniper, it'll be sweet. Oh, thank God that's over. 8 and 41. Woo! In a world full of snipers, we got the dual wield Akita going off here. This guy going against the grain for the love of the game. Okay, get me out of here. But what we got on the docket for our yapping points today, we have a bit of sports talk to go over. You know, there's been some playoff football happening, and I have some thoughts, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But also, I have completed the Tournament of Power in Dragon Ball. And I've also picked The Walking Dead back up after being a huge fan of it back in the day and stopped watching it around, I think it was season 9. But I left off right before like a crazy part of the show that I think I would have enjoyed back then. But with the way things were going with the show, I think I just got frustrated with it. Is that a long shot? Is that really not a long shot? How am I supposed to get long shots on this map? Do we have to go find another map? Because I feel like that's the longest angle I can get. In a legend in here? Maybe they can help me get some long shots. Actually, hold on. Is this the furthest angle we can get right here? Oh, that's a long shot. Oh, and he did help me. Thank you. That's my guy right there. I've mentioned this before, where even though we only have to do like 15 long shots, that it still feels like it takes just as long as it used to back in the day. And by back in the day, I mean like 3 games ago, where we had to get like 100 of them. And I think that's because a lot of the maps have shrunk. We're seeing shrinkflation for multiplayer maps, where since like Shipment really took off in Modern Warfare 2019 and then Stakeout last year, it feels like people only really want to play those really teeny tiny maps. So there's not really a whole lot of maps that have these long shot angles. That's why I really like Shoot House back in Modern Warfare 2019, because it felt like a fun flow of a 3-lane map while also having the ability to go for long shots down the middle. Like, everybody knew what was going on if you're going down mid. People were going to be getting camos done, and they're going to be getting them long shots done. Where it feels like now I need to play a very specific mode to get long shots, or play on these extremely weird off angles. And it makes sense for some of the long shot angles to really not be there, because especially with how the sniper meta is taking place right now, like every single lobby is going to have like 100 people sniping, so you don't want to just get cross-mapped constantly if you're trying to use any other weapon. Ooh, our boy's helping us out again. Thank you. But at the same time, I feel like those long-distance fights in COD aren't always the most fun. I mean, sniping with it is fun, like in Cold War, especially back in like the Cold War beta, playing on satellite. Everyone just ran out to the dunes with their sniper and started cranking out kills. But I think this update could have definitely benefited from having a snipers only mode. Ooh, and is that a long shot angle? I feel like this is definitely a way better long shot angle to use besides the one we were using. But every mode is going to be snipers only anyways. Ooh, that's one. Yep, this is way better than what I was doing. I don't know what I was thinking. Jeez, do we got enough smoke over here? I can't see anything.
Mission timeline over. UAV exiting the area.
Oof. Come on, let's just get the long shots over and done with, so I don't have to think about them. What? Was that not one? Are we serious? I was one step too forward? Dumb. I feel like everybody's got this nuke calling card in this game. I might be the only person to play BO7 that doesn't have a nuke. Oh, this is about to be a quad collat right here. Oh, he almost got it too. Everybody lined up in the same spot, but he put dude through the wall. He's no clipping over there, waving to us. But I've never seen our entire team go to the same spot like that before. Somebody could have had it a generational clip. Look at this. We're all lining up again. Get out of here. Scram. Oh, there we go. We got to be close to getting this done now. Oh, it is done. Let's go. No longer have to think about long shots ever again until the next gun that needs it. Now we can finally play the game. You know what? Let's get into the yapping with everybody's favorite segment, Gamer Guy Does Sports Talk. And last time we left off, we were going into the Lions' final game of the season. So it's been like 2 NFL weeks, which isn't too different from 2 normal weeks. But I've taken a little bit of time to get back to multiplayer. Anyways, with the Lions' last game, we went and we played the Bears, and we were out of playoff contention already, so the game was kind of 4-0. Besides draft position, where like if we lost, we would have had like a certain pick, or we win, we have a certain pick. It really doesn't matter. They're playing for pride, really, going against Ben Johnson. And we ended up pulling out the W. We got a nice win there. And it was nice to sweep the Bears this season after being swept by every other team in our division. And we ended up finishing last in our division, which really sucks. But honestly, it's not too bad comparatively, because our division, every single team had a winning record. So it could definitely be worse. We could have been in like the NFC West and been going against every like 12-win team that is in the NFC. But I guess it'll be nice to have a bit of a higher draft pick and be able to have a 4th place schedule next season, so we get to go against all the other 4th place teams in whatever divisions we're going to go up against next year, which is my cope. But that's like ancient history at this point. We're already on to the 2nd week of the NFL playoffs, which is tomorrow at the time I'm recording this. It's a Friday night. And basically every single game last weekend was great. Like, it all came down to the wire. There was a bunch of like late game like lead changes. Like, every game was going back and forth. It was honestly, going into it, watching it with like, you know, no stress of my team being in it, it was a very enjoyable playoff weekend. And I had a generational hate watch of the Packers and Bears game, because that was like my nightmare matchup with basically guaranteeing one of our division rivals to get a playoff win, and it would be either the Packers get a playoff win, and I hate the Packers with all my heart, and I would hate to see that happen, or it would be the Bears get a playoff win, and Ben Johnson's like, oh, aren't you guys so mad that you lost Ben Johnson now that he's winning with the Bears or whatever? Like, there was no winning there, but I was definitely pulling more for the Bears than I was for the Packers, because I don't think I can find a scenario where I would cheer for them unless it was like where they would help out the Lions. But even then, it would just be like it would be a win-win. But for most of that game, I did not see it because I was at the Pistons and Spurs game. That was my first time at Little Caesars Arena, so that was a lot of fun. Pistons ended up losing, though, in the very last few minutes there. But it was pretty cool. I haven't been to a Pistons game in a long time, so it was nice to see. But anyways, that's all just to say that I didn't really catch the game until close to the end of it, and that was the part to watch because it was absolutely nuts. The lead change going crazy. You know, the Packers blowing the 21-3 lead, or what was it, 26-3? 28-3 was Falcons Patriots, which coincidentally Matt LaFleur, Packers head coach, was what, the quarterback's coach for the Falcons during that, or the offense coordinator or something like that. So you love to see that when you're hate watching. And speaking of Packers fans, maybe it's time to have some uncomfortable conversations. Is it time to move on from Matt LaFleur? He's on a contract year and he hasn't really done anything without Aaron Rodgers. And speaking of quarterbacks, is it time to move on from Jordan Love? Is he not the answer? Should they just re-sign Malik Willis and have him start? He seems to be better than Jordan Love. Am I doing this rage baiting right? Honestly, it's crazy to see the conversation around Jordan Love and how it was his fault about losing the game. Even though the whole like delay a game penalty and setting up McManus to miss yet another kick could be put on him. But honestly, I think he played pretty good that game. I don't think he shoulders the blame for the loss there. But I do really think that maybe the Packers should move on from LaFleur. Actually, as a Lions fan, no, keep him. Because he's been doing really good at holding his fourth quarter leads. But this is like the flip side of the whole like Dan Gamble argument, where it's like, oh, he gambles too much, just take the points. And then you have LaFleur, who plays way too conservative with a lead. Tries to play way too safe and doesn't get aggressive until it's too late, where they missed all those, or they missed those 2 field goals in the PAT. They could have gone for 2 and put the game away. They could have gone for it on 4th and put the game away, especially after that missed PAT and the first missed field goal. They really shouldn't have been trying to go for another field goal. And the whole thing with, like, you know, they missed the PAT, so now they have to go for the touchdown last drive instead of the field goal. I don't think you want to be in that situation either. Well, I mean, it's definitely easier, but with the way McManus was playing, I don't know if you wanted to put the whole game on his leg again. But speaking of coaching, there has been an insane switch up on just who's employed where and who's not even employed. Like the Ravens firing Harbaugh, or in the Steelers having Tomlin step down. McDaniels is gone. Like, there's just been so much movement in these head coaching spots that it's nuts. Like, Harbaugh is supposedly already signing with the Giants. They're still working out the contract, so it could go south and he just ends up not signing there. but so many teams have had coaching openings that it's tough for the Lions right now to find an OC and get our next offensive coordinator. Like, I'm really hoping for McDaniels, but he has had nonstop interviews since like his season has ended and he's been fired, to where I really don't see him not taking a head coaching job. But rumor is that he is more open to taking a good offensive coordinator job over a bad head coaching job. But I feel like he could be convinced with enough cash, or going to a situation where he can really build the team in his like image, or like the way he sees. And during our whole offensive coordinator search, for whatever reason, the Lions have decided to interview Arthur Smith, who is, for all intents and purposes, a football terrorist. And I do not see how anyone could consider him at all after what he's done with like the Steelers. He is, I mean, like, I'm not gonna act like I know the most about what it takes to run an offense or whatever, but I haven't seen an offense of his perform very well since like what, the Tannehill Titans. Like, I don't think I've heard a good thing from a Steelers fan about Arthur Smith and the way he runs the offense. I don't want that. I don't want more frustration on offense. But honestly, I don't think the play calling was that big of an issue for the Lions last year. Like, Morton wasn't the best, but he was kind of like the scapegoat for our offensive line not being very good in the last season. And it was fine with like Dan Campbell calling plays, but I feel like he would rather not have to focus on running the entire offense. You know, it'd be nice to have somebody in there that can like get better run game scheming going if we're gonna have a constant change of offensive linemen. And from what I understand, Mike McDaniel is like one of the better schemers when it comes to the run game, and I would just really enjoy to see that, especially after we didn't really use David Montgomery a whole lot last year because we had no O-line. They felt like they had to, you know, go with the more big play running back with Jameer. And I just want to see my team be able to pound the rock again. I want to be able to run the ball down people's throats. But I don't know. I just wanted to yap a bit about that. I'll leave the sports talk there for now. We will reconvene in the next video. But Dragon Ball update, I finally finished the Tournament of Power and got through that whole arc, and it was pretty sick. I don't know how much there is to say about it because I was only like a few episodes away. It just took me a bit to get to it, but in pure Dragon Ball fashion, it ended with basically everything going back to how it was, just people being stronger. Like, it was supposed to be a whole tournament for, you know, what universes are going to be knocked out of existence and all that, and it went with like Jiren being the last standing from universe 11, as you know, it wasn't that hard to predict. And every time somebody's about to get messed up, it's like, nah, but wait, I can be stronger. I got another level. I can dig deeper. But before it was down to just him, the fights with Top were actually pretty sick. Like, I don't know how, but that whole universe is so busted, so OP, and they threw so hard because Top was like their destroyer or whatever in waiting. Like, he was basically their Beerus, and decided to level up in the middle of the whole thing and just be like, you know what, I'm a destroyer now. Which all destroyers were banned from fighting in the tournament because they would have been too busted. But since he wasn't one prior to it starting, that he was able to just do it in the middle of it and just get that power boost. So that's whatever, on top of Jiren already being busted as hell. Like, I have no idea how that universe lost. I mean, I do, because, you know, plot armor. They're gonna win anyways. But they should have cleaned them. They should have cleaned the fuck out of everyone. And the funniest thing about that whole arc is how, like, the Tournament of Power is supposed to only be like, what, 48 minutes or something, like not long at all in real time, but in showtime that's 100 something episodes, and it'll be like, there's only 3 minutes left of the Tournament of Power, and you check like how many episodes are left, and there's 15 episodes. It's like, how are they gonna stretch these 3 minutes for 15 almost 30-minute episodes? But when it came down to basically just like Goku and Vegeta going against Jiren, it was so sick. Like, they put everything into the fight. He still fucked them up, and then again, Vegeta is basically like dead on the ground, but he's like, I ain't hear no bell, and keeps going and tries to buy time for Goku just to heal up a little bit, and then on his way out sends over his remaining energy, which I have no idea how he still had any, over to Goku so he could like keep the fight going. And Goku was like an inch away from getting knocked out. And he's like, that's it. I'm going Ultra Instinct again. And that shit is hard. And honestly, I thought they're going to hit me with the no look at the end and actually have them lose the Termina power. And then just have like them wish Goku and his whole universe back because he was like so impressed with how they fought that he'd want to fight him again or whatever. And then when it looked like he was getting taken out, all of a sudden it's like, ha, oh, here's Frieza, here's Android 17. You thought they died? Psych. They never said they were eliminated. They're still here. And I gotta give him credit because at least 3 times I thought Frieza was gonna like betray them and try to do whatever, since he was trying to make that deal, fake or not, with Top or the bunny dude. Dispo, I think is his name. Where it'd be like, oh, I'll let you survive this fight or whatever, but when you win, you gotta do whatever with the Dragon Balls for me. And I was like, this sleazy bastard. And then he fooled me yet again. I never know Frieza's next move. But the tournament ended up finishing the way I thought it would, you know, with them barely pulling it out in the end, with, you know, Jiren being the last one standing from whatever other universe. I didn't think Android 17 was going to be the one that was last standing, like Frieza and like Goku actually getting Jiren out, while Android 17 just stood there. And him being up there, the one that had to make the wish with the Super Dragon Balls or whatever. If I was Android 17, I would have been acting different. I wouldn't have brought all the universes back. I would have been like, hey, double my meat, because I would be unstoppable if I could walk around with a whole 4 inches of hog. I would not be able to be contained. But of course, nobody ever dies in Dragon Ball. I think like everything basically went back to how it was, besides everyone being stronger, like I said before. But the only person to actually get something out of the whole tournament was Frieza, going from, you know, dead but alive with a little halo over him to just being alive again. Like he's really the only one to benefit from the entire tournament besides like the Zennies, who just got to have like a little show or whatever going on for them. But there's so much Dragon Ball out there still. I don't know where to go next for like what to watch. But that actually leads perfectly into what else I wanted to talk about, which was me getting back into The Walking Dead. And I know the show's been out for a while, but spoiler alert, because I will be talking about like season 9 and what kind of like pulled me back into the show, because I was pretty big fan of The Walking Dead. I started to catch on. Ooh, Shatter Gold, let's go. I started watching the show at I think season 2, season 3, something like that. Like I was pretty early on, and I would watch like every episode and like The Talking Dead after and all that. Like I love The Walking Dead, but at a certain point I was starting to get like a little bit fed up with the show, because it would be like season breaks would be a long time, and then there'd be a mid-season break, and then it kind of felt like there was a lot of filler going on in the show, with just like it would be a whole hour of like filler, but then like at the very end of the episode something would happen. Like there'd be like one little plot point or something that would happen, so like you couldn't just like skip episodes, because then you just miss like an important like plot moment. But there was a whole lot of nothing going on for a long time, on top of like the long waits in between everything. And then what seemed like they were just doing things for like shock value, and like we're just gonna kill off this character because we think it'll get a lot of press or something. And just one last warning, going into spoilers now, but like I was starting to hit my tipping point around like when Negan was first introduced, and I love Negan's character and everything, and I was really excited for it because I did pick up some of the comics around that time, and I knew of Negan and all that and like what was coming. But them doing a cliffhanger as the season finale of we don't know who's gonna get killed, into waiting like what, like a year and a half later for the next season, and still not knowing who's gonna be killed that whole like first episode, because it's just following Rick in the aftermath of it and him dealing with Negan. And then they go through like the whole war with the Saviors and everything, and that was fun. That was cool. I liked that arc. But then them killing off Carl seemed like so out of nowhere and for nothing, and that was like one of the shock value deaths that they brought in, because from my understanding of it, Chandler Riggs, the guy that plays Carl, was told like he was going to be a big thing in the show going forward, and that he was planning his life around being there in Atlanta for the show, and like bought a house there and was planning on going to college nearby. Ooh. Excuse me while I go stupid. But then just on a dime, they changed it and completely like wrote his character out. And then the next season, Rick's gone, and then Maggie's gone, and I think just main characters just keep leaving because, you know, the show's been going on for so long and these people want to go and do other things. But I stopped watching back in the day right around when Rick left, and they end the whole episode with, "I'm Judith Grimes." Ooh, nice little collat. But if I would have just stayed one more episode all the way until the end of that episode for the introduction of the Whispers, I would have been bought back in, because that was like, I watched that episode for the first time like a day or two ago and I was hooked. The Whispers are such a cool concept. It's basically just people wearing zombies' faces as masks and walking like a horde in among hordes of zombies. And it's so cool. And they're like the first little like sneak peek at them with like them going in on like Rosita and Eugene was kind of scary. They actually made zombies in the show scary again, where zombies haven't really been a threat in the show since like the first 2 seasons. Ooh. Oh. 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 What was that? Arc light right there? What do we need to do for arc light? It's double kills, right? Oh yeah. We're already halfway there on it. I just hope that the show doesn't start to drag again, because the Whisperers arc has been very refreshing and fun to watch. And I don't know if I can sit through more like filler stuff. But I am already on season 9. There's only 2 more seasons left, I think. So I guess I can put up with it and sit through and watch the rest if I do end up starting to get tired of it, because we're already right there at the finish line. But I don't know if I am even gonna watch any of the side shows that they did. Like, I tried Fear the Walking Dead back in the day. It was alright for a little bit, but then I got bored of it. And then like every other character has a like side show, like some sort of spin-off show. So I already know that, you know, most of them, nothing's gonna happen to them for the rest of the show, so that already kind of spoils it. But they just took 2 of each main character and put them in their own show somewhere else, like around the world. And I don't even know what they can do with those to make those like interesting to me, unless like the show ends in like a really crazy way and I really want to see what these characters are still up to. I don't really care about those side shows. I think I've done more than enough yapping today. We got to lock in and get these last few double kills so we can get this weapon done. I swapped over to the special mayhem mode, just looking for a switch up from 10v10, and it feels very, very slow compared to 10v10. It's like getting off the highway and driving in a school zone. It feels like you could walk faster than you're driving. Now let's just make these double kills easy on ourselves and rack up a few collats so we can call it a day. Guess that works too. That's such a weak 4K. I was taking so long to aim on the first like 2 kills. Oh shit, that was nasty. There it is. That's got to be arc light. No, and we won't even get to see the camo pop up. Oh wait, did we not even get it? What am I complaining about? Oh, that's got to be it, right? That was a little bit of time in between those. Is it still a double? That's a level up. And there's Arclight. Let's go. Okay, get me out of here. Anyways, here is the fruits of our labor with our Hawker HK Gold. Very beautiful looking gun and very fun to use. And here it is in Arclight. And honestly, I might actually like it better in Arclight. I was thinking gold might be the way with it, but this is kind of clean. This is like that, giving the same vibe as like diamond snipers, but it's just really glistening on this. The diamond's dancing. This is just such a clean looking weapon. Even though our overall KD with this weapon is negative, it's still got to be like my favorite gun in the game so far. It is just a blast to use. And I'm thinking within the next coming episode here, we got to just do a bulk episode where I go through and clean up all the weapons that I have mostly done. That way we can just knock out a chunk of Arclight and get like that much closer to getting Singularity. But I think that's going to do it for me today. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate our love and support, and I will see you in the next one. Later.